Not long ago, General Motors said it's not abandoning ICE, gasoline-powered vehicles yet. Now, you know what? I understand. They're addicted to it. Crack cocaine, whatever drug it is, for General Motors, it's gasoline-powered vehicles. They need the cash. They need it big time. But that doesn't mean they aren't wanting to electrify as quickly as possible. Now, General Motors has said they want to have 30 different electric vehicle models by 2025, and that's a very ambitious goal. There's zero chance of them achieving that. But, I mean, they said they had 18 electric vehicles on sale today a few years ago. That obviously didn't happen. That doesn't mean they're not taking EVs seriously. There's been a lot of criticism of General Motors in the past. Much of it was fair. From myself, from many of you, it's time to move on. It's time. I've moved on. Let's all do it. General Motors is much more serious about electric cars than most vehicle manufacturers are. That's true. It is true, and they're doing some really good things. Yes, they haven't ramped up their EV production yet, but they're trying, and I believe they're going to do it. I also believe they're much more committed to doing that than companies like BMW and Mercedes. General Motors are actually doing some other stuff as well, which we need to applaud. Here is one of those things where you've got to say, you know what? Well done. This is a brilliant move. Aside from BrightDrop, which is also a brilliant strategic decision which will pay off in billions of dollars in revenue over the next few years, GM is doing something else, which I think we need to get together and just say, well done. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name's Sam Evans, and I'm coming to you from Melbourne in Australia. Thank you for tuning in. It's great to see you. I picked up my new electric car 2 days ago. It's been interesting. It's been good not to have to go and fill that thing up with gas or diesel. And that's saving me a boatload of money. Yeah, sure, electric prices have gone up, but so what? It's nothing in comparison to the price of gasoline these days, or diesel these days, petrol, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. My point is, electricity is miles cheaper. Anyone gets on social media and tries to tell you otherwise, they got a screw loose. If you're one of those people, you've got a screw loose, my friend. You haven't done the sums. You haven't done the maths. You don't understand simple basic mathematics. There's no country in the world where it's cheaper to fill up your EV with electricity. There's no country in the world where it's cheaper to actually run a gasoline-powered car versus an electric car, especially if you're going to get solar. Then it just changes the equation entirely. GM just launched its dealer community charging program with Flow. This program is going to bring 19.2 kilowatt AC charging stations to locations in communities chosen by local dealerships. This doesn't sound like a lot, but actually, it will be game changing. Here is why. General Motors is partnering with Flow and its dealer network to add 40,000 new electric vehicle charging points in the US and Canada. Funded from a $750 million pot of money earmarked for charging infrastructure projects, the dealer community charging program will place AC chargers in rural communities and urban areas where charging deserts are known to exist. There's some spots in the US where, there's not a lot of chargers, and they're basically identifying where those areas are and going, let's shove heaps of chargers there. Yeah, sure. There might not be any EVs there at all, but it doesn't matter. You build them and they'll come. And I think that's a good move. There are, of course, a lot more refueling options for electric vehicles compared with their combustion car counterparts. Home charging, for one. People go on about, where are you going to charge your EV? I'm like, what do you think? Hang a power lead out your window. It's really not that difficult. The truth is, the average person only drives about 20 miles a day. Globally, that's a global average. In the West, it's no different. Similar numbers. It's really not that difficult. But this just gives people another solution. Now, have you seen my video where I show people the new things that are happening in several different places around the world where they actually just install chargers in the curb? Like literally in the street curb, in the gutter, there's chargers just sticking out. That's brilliant. I love that. There's other ideas like charging robots. People have robots who will go around and drive to your car autonomously while you're asleep and just recharge your car. There's always a solution if you want to find one. If you don't want to find one, you won't find one. That's what will happen. But if you want to find one, there's plenty of entrepreneurs out there that want to find solutions to being able to charge an EV no matter where you live or no matter where you are. General Motors has addressed home charging and DC fast charging in both metropolitan areas and along travel corridors through its partnership with pilot. This latest program, first announced in October of 2021, well before the IRA was talked about, will offer a lot more individual AC charging points, but with a maximum power rate of 19.2 kilowatt, they will be somewhat slower than DC charging options. The individual locations will be chosen by dealers who have opted to take part in the program. So far, that's 1,000 General Motors dealers. This is cool. This is really cool. I'm loving to see these GM dealers want to get involved in this. General Motors is offering guidance to the dealerships to help choose the specific locations and other aspects of the in-store process. Each participating dealership can receive up to 10 chargers through the program, but can also expand beyond that if they bear the costs. The program is already underway. The first flow chargers were installed by Wheelers Chevrolet GMC around Marshfield, Wisconsin, at various locations, which included a pair of parks, a library, and a sports complex. These are the kind of places where, you go and chill in a library, you charge your car, sit there for a couple of hours, you go and play basketball at the sports complex, you charge your car, right? You go to school, you charge your car. This is so cool. I love it. The chargers themselves bear GM's Ultium 360 charging branding, along with the name of the dealership responsible for the installation. This is kind of like a good marketing thing to do as well. Plus, it's a way that GM can maybe make a little bit of money. Having these chargers, you make a little bit on top, maybe an extra 5-10%. You never know. Could end up being a good revenue stream for them too, eventually. A Chevrolet dealership in Michigan has also installed at least one of its allocated chargers, and the automaker says many more will be installed over the next weeks and months. The initial wave are all Chevrolet dealers, but the GMC, Cadillac, and Buick brands will also begin taking part as soon as January of 2023. Payment amounts pretty wildly, says Inside EVs. While a dealer or site owner may wish to offer free charging, some locations will require payment. The chargers installed by Wheeler Chevrolet, for instance, currently charge $4.50 an hour for usage. $4.50 an hour. I mean, even if you had to be there for 4 hours, that's still less than $20. That's cheap. Wisconsin is a state that only allows utilities to sell electricity, so charges have to be time-based rather than per kilowatt hour. Though the chargers are capable of putting out 19.2 kilowatt, most vehicles will vary depending on their own current AC charging rate, so they may not be able to draw that much power out of them. They might be able to charge at about 11 kilowatt. Depends on what model of car you have. Now, these chargers are not charging points for dealerships. Dealerships already have charging points. GM's dealerships, most of them already have them. These chargers are to be placed in the community, in community areas, just in areas where you might be spending a few hours. And hey, why not plug in while you're sitting there? Now, I want to point out all of General Motors' upcoming Ultium electric cars will be able to charge at that rate on AC. They'll be able to charge at 19.2 kilowatts, meaning they'll be able to take advantage of the full power of these chargers. Now, 23 cents per kilowatt hour is what these will work out to be. Some of them will be free and they'll be nothing, but the ones that will be charging 23 cents per kilowatt hour will be the average price, which seems not too bad. But some people have been asking, are these chargers just for GM vehicles? No, the answer is they are not. What's this going to mean? You're looking at having 40,000 of these General Motors chargers in the US. Then you've got Tesla's supercharger network. Then you've got all the other networks not only being built, but the ones that already exist. Add to those all the chargers that will be built as a result of the IRA, the Biden administration's funding, which is in the billions of dollars. America's going to have so many chargers that there won't be an issue of saying, oh, I can't charge my EV. I don't want to buy an EV because I can't charge it. There simply won't be any reason to say that. They'll be everywhere. I mean, for example, I've seen news reports of chargers at colleges. There's like heaps of them now at colleges all over the United States. I mean, there's reports now of gasoline stations now installing more charging points for EVs than they have for petrol cars. This is the future, my friends. And GM, I believe, are actually getting on board. Yeah, they've been slow, but now they're taking it seriously. They've announced no more gasoline-powered cars after 2035. Now, I think they'll accelerate that maybe by a few years because they'll have to. But the point is, has Ford said that? No, they haven't. Ford have said they're still going to be making gasoline-powered cars in the 2030s. Have Toyota said that? No. Has any Japanese automaker said that? No. Look at the sales of BMW's EVs in Germany, Mercedes EVs in Germany. They're a pittance. So GM is actually doing better than we give them credit for. I reckon it's about time to support them. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Happy to hear anything here. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of opinions. I understand some of you hate GM, some of you love them, but remember, GM they're putting their necks on the line here because you know how many hundreds of thousands of GM fans hate this. They're just ranting and raving against this, saying, GM, we hate you now because you just want to go all EV. You're going to kill the weekend. Yeah, I've heard that claim, but it's ridiculous. GM, good move. I like it. Thank you. Bye-bye.